I'd like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. This is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Bray Cooker. Man, the mouth is on assignment again.
He's gone.
I think the guy's off the cliff a little bit. I really do. He
got some gas mileage.
Yes, I talked to him. He was on his way up, and something about his medication or something, and then, he had to take a nap. And I told him, if you don't show up for work, we're not going to pay you. And
That's
so, it's one of those deals. But
we need him.
We do. Man, what big news this week. I mean, last Saturday, we always get the Hogs right now, which we're going to get into. We got a special guest we're going to bring on. 7-3 against Mississippi State, a bad Mississippi State team. You can say whatever you want to. And, defensively, it was probably one of the best performances I've ever seen us have. And, as a matter of fact, they just decided to win it themselves, and Mississippi State can't line up, and then we end up losing the game. And then it comes Sunday with the firing of Dan Enos. And so, Bray, we're going to just go ahead and bring our BSN guest on right now and get you two's perspective. We're bringing on former Arkansas linebacker Brooks Ellis, who's a team captain. What a great player he was. But, I hate this. I'm sitting by two guys that cost me state championships, both of you. I think you did 3 times, and Bray, you did it once. It's hard to be in the same room with you guys, but I'm gonna bear with it for a while. But let's get off that. Nobody cares about that. So let's go with you, Bray, and then we'll hit with Brooks. I mean, let's get into the Enos fire. I mean, let's start this. Let's start that over. Let's get into the performance, the 7-3 performance. And the biggest thing I don't want to do is the defense was outstanding, and I don't want to take the spotlight off their performance, but offensively was as bad as I've seen in a long time.
Well, that's what's toughest, I think, as a fan to look at. The week before you go to Tuscaloosa and you walk away losing that game by 3 points, and then you come out against this team and then you see this. So very disheartening. Obviously, the guys just didn't seem very motivated out there to win a ball game at home, which is tough to see. As a former player.
It is. And Brooks, I'm going to throw this at you. As a defensive player and, as a coach and a player and everybody's all that part of it, when you're fighting a fight over there, and, the old saying is when the offense keeps going 3 and out, hey, can we at least get some water in them? And having to go out there and battle. And those guys have done it week after week. And it's not just week after week, series after series, play after play, knowing they're not getting the help or not the execution on that side of the ball. As a defensive player, what was your mindset if you're going through that situation? Hey, can we kick a couple of field goals? We're going to hold them to 7. What would be your mindset? What would be your thoughts if you're in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, you're almost just do something. Can we get something going? Just move the ball, stay on the field just a little bit longer. But looking back to our days, it was almost like it was flipped. So we were getting points ran up on us, and the offense was having to stay in games by scoring all these points. Look at Ole Miss. All those games were, high scoring games, and the offense had to pull the, carry the card a little bit harder and with more energy than what we were pulling with. And so, it's a team sport. If one side of the ball is not pulling their weight, then the other team has to do their part and step up. And it's and sometimes that's just how it goes, right? Sometimes you're playing your butt off and everyone's doing well, and you really feel like if the offense was doing their part, this could be a blowout. This could be one of those games, but it's a team sport, and so you have to. It's a team sport, and you have to, keep going and keep fighting, regardless of what the other side is doing.
Well, and that makes perfect sense. And the other killing blow to me was the defense just said, heck, we're going to win it ourselves. They pick up the fumble and go in, and then, the penalty and there's nothing going right. Well, we go through that part of it, and then it comes out Sunday that Dan Enos has released as offensive coordinator, and that's been kind of swirling around here or there. But you kind of look on the staff; there's not a lot of guys with experience calling plays at any level there. And what was your take? Because both of y'all have been in the room with Dan, know him pretty well, and you've watched it. And you kind of got to separate yourself a little bit in the performance. And Coach Pittman in his press conference. It was Monday was, about as open as a football coach I've ever seen, just really telling the truth. And, he talked about the motivation and the spirit to play. And I think as coach, sometimes once you lose them like that, it's hard to get them back. What was your thoughts? What was the first thing you thought when you heard about Dan getting released?
Watching the press conference and obviously hearing Coach Enos being let go, Coach Pittman was genuinely upset about how things are going. And it wasn't just a cover my butt kind of situation. It was this didn't work out. We had to make this decision, but we still want to make this work. It's not like he's given up. And it's not like they're in a spot where it's a guy who's just getting paid to be up there and coach. It's a guy who truly loves this team and this state. And you've got to appreciate where he's at now as far as how much he cares about the program and how far along he has brought in this program. I think we cannot forget where we were and what we've been the last 2-3 years. And just because we hit a speed bump doesn't mean the whole thing is thrown out the window. I think that we've got a guy who cares, who's going to make the difficult decisions like you just did, that we have to make to move forward. And that's what you have to appreciate is that the guy at the top at least cares about what's going on. And, a new opportunity for a guy to come in and get his shot calling plays in the SEC. And it's got to be an exciting thing for him and for the team. And I'm sure the guys will, you would hope, would rally around that opportunity for him. And that is going to be determined by the relationships that he's made since he's been here. And if those guys care about him and what he has in front of him, they're going to go out and play hard. And so that's what I'm interested to see. They've got the bye week. They've got 2 weeks to prep and change whatever it is they need to change. But those guys will buy in if they really care about what's going on. And at Florida is a tough place to buy into, but I'm excited to see how this team responds in the swamp.
Well, and I think he kept talking about his press conference, cutting the volume down. So mentioning tempo. So I think you're going to see more tempo RPOs. Brooks, what was your reaction? If you will follow the Razorbacks a lot, you probably wasn't shocked, but you just never know how those things, no one going in a bye week and then the performance. But what was your first reaction?
Man, as much as I hated it for Coach Enos. I think it had to be done. I just, for a couple weeks now, I've seen the life on the offense just completely be wiped out, and there's no spirit, there's no life, there's no energy. Leaders aren't stepping up. There's no the passion and the care is just completely wiped out of the offense. And I don't know where that starts. And it may start with the head coach. It may start with the offensive coordinator creating too difficult of plays, or it's too complicated for the team, or maybe it's not the right personnel for the team. Whatever it is, that was the case. We saw the end result, and it wasn't working out. So I think a change needed to happen. Hopefully, this change can spark some life into the leaders on this team, and they begin to put more effort into learning the plays, caring about the product that they put on the field. Because I didn't see that, and it's really disappointing to see a lot of guys on the offense go out there and just kind of give a half effort. They're just kind of they're not making the plays that they used to make, and it's really disappointing because we know we have the talent. We're playing with Alabama, we're playing with LSU, all these teams where we're neck and neck with at the games. We're playing away at Ole Miss and Alabama and LSU, and we're right there. We're almost winning, but we're not finishing. And then we do this against Mississippi State. It's like, okay, there's a disconnect in the team between the players and just the leadership, and we need the players to step up and and say enough is enough. And we're going to take whatever this new offensive coordinator has given us and go full steam ahead and make this work, whatever it takes. And so I hope I see that. Back to the original question, I think it was needed, and hopefully it sparks some life into the team.
Well, and this is kind of going back for both of you. I mean, you both been team captains and leader. I mean, you both, when you guys were there, you played a lot, and no matter what, the guys that play or whatever, you're leaders of that room. You're a leader on the defense. You're a leader on offense. All of a sudden, boom, this guy's changed. Now you've got two guys, from Kendall Briles to Dan Enos, less than 1 year, you're getting play calls from. Mm-hmm. What do you do as a leader on the team? Do we pull together? We all say that. Is it spoken? Hey, we're not performing. Hit that brain, and the same thing come to you, Brooks.
To me, and maybe it's a little different coming from the offensive line, but when these things happen, all you can do is band together with the guys that you go to war with every day. And, they're still going through that daily grind, regardless of all this drama that's going on, all the media and all the tweets and all the us podcasting about it. They're still having to wake up tomorrow and go to class and go to study hall and go do workouts and everything. So at the end of the day, it truly is about, the athletes. And, speed bump. Yeah, there's change, but everything football teaches you is you got to focus in on the guys that you're there with. So if it's a close group of seniors and a close football team, then, it is what it is. We'll move forward. And to me, I was there for Bobby Petrino. It was big speed bump. And, the next couple of years were tough, but the most important part of it was the guys that you were with every single day. So, like I said, they got 2 weeks to put something together, and they got to test it out in Florida. So, I think that's the most important thing.
Brooks, does everybody got to look at themselves in the mirror? I mean, but, let's go back to the original question is, you're a leader on the defense when you were there. Y'all had ups and downs like everybody else, but what do you do as a leader when something like that happens? What's your mindset? What do you think the guys in the locker room, what's going through their brain?
Man, I don't know what's going through their brain, but right now, what needs to be going through their brain is what do I need to do? What have I not done that I need to do to step up and be a leader and do my job? It seems like there's a lot of people pointing fingers and not enough people taking responsibility, taking accountability for what they've done or not done on the field. And so I think, just like you said, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I haven't performed the way that I am capable of performing and the way that people are expecting me to perform. And I need to get in the film room. I need to talk with my teammates. I need to communicate. How can I help my teammates be better on the field? Like what? And so it requires, getting the team together, everybody getting together, the leaders speaking up and saying, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what we need to be doing on this bye week. This is a week to rest up physically, but mentally, we're in the film room. We're learning everything we can. We're making sure when we get back on the field against Florida, every single play that we go out there on the field for is crisp. We know exactly what to do. We know what the defense is going to do. We know every option that they could run, every twist and turn and blitz and whatever. We're making sure that we have all of our T's crossed, all of our I's dotted, right? We are checking everything off the list, right? And it's as a leader, you have to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Otherwise, everyone's just going to be doing whatever they want, blaming each other, pointing fingers. There's going to be no cohesiveness. And that's, I feel like that's what I see right now. It seems like, no one's talking to each other on the sideline. I see everyone just sitting down, bummed, looking like they're miserable being out there. And it's depressing to watch because we have the players. It's just nobody wants to speak up and tell them like, hey, get your stuff together. Let's make this work. We have a good team, So it's just, as a leader, you have to do what you can to help. You're helping your teammates be the best they can be. And so whether that's getting in the film room, helping them recover, helping them develop some different skills on the practice field with different drills or whatever it is. You got to do what you got to do. It's not just about yourself. It's about making your teammates as good as they can, as good as they can be.
I agree with everything that you say. It is, and I'll leave you with one last question here for both of you. The Hogs got 4 games left. I mean, we got to go to Florida. We got Auburn, who's really good on defense. Florida International, then finish up with Missouri at home. What do you expect, or what do you think you'll see from here the next 4 weeks? What do you want to see the next 4 weeks, Bray?
Well, that's a good question. There's a lot of things that we can see the next 4 weeks.
Let's see some wins, Bray.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Wins.
Come on, let's call it out.
And we want to see wins, but God, I mean, Auburn, Missouri, at Florida. It's a little gauntlet there. I mean, Florida, FIU. I mean, at the end of the day, part of you wants to say, I want to see us just put something together that looks like, an offense. And then the other party says that we're Arkansas and we should go out there and beat all 4 of those teams and go to a bowl game. So somewhere in between. This is my answer.
Well, you don't know. You got a crystal ball. Brooks, what if you had a crystal ball, what do you think you'll see? What do you want to – obviously, everybody wants to see wins. There's no doubt about that. Wins cure a lot of things. But what do you think you'll see with the change? I think you're going to see more tempo, more RPOs kind of get back. I think it was in the arsenal. They just didn't do it as much and really take the volume and get good at something. And that's kind of what Coach said. But what do you want to see the next 4 weeks?
I want to see that. I want to see guys flying around, not thinking too much, simplifying it, just running the plays that work. He was saying that in the press conference. Like we didn't run the plays that were working. Like it's so simple, just do what works for you. Run what your team is best at running. And it's usually, if it works, it works. So like, let's stick to those things. Let's stick to the things that make our players play the best. And if we do that, I think, we're capable of winning all 4 games. There's no question. It's just like, can we simplify the offense enough, and can the players hop on board, and are they bought in to be able to finish the season strong? And I think they are. I think they're not checked out completely yet. Maybe a couple players, but hopefully with this new offensive coordinator, it'll spark some life into them, and we can get this win against Florida, get some good momentum going into the next 3 games. And I like to stay optimistic. I think this is. I think we're going to do well against Florida and start off on the right foot after this bye week.
Well, I think so too. And the wins cure everything. Almost.
Yes, they do.
And the thing about it, and Bray made a point, it's not like we're getting blown out by 35, and you made a great point. We're right there. And sometimes closing that much of a gap is difficult sometimes. And but you just got to bust through one time. You guys were both part of winners, and once you bust through, you just keep on rolling. Well, Brooks, I appreciate you coming on, man, and we'll have you on again. Something's going on, we'll bring you on. And how's life treating you? What are you doing now? Where are you living and all that good part? Let everybody know about it.
Yeah, so I'm living in Fayetteville. I got back from DC in May, and I've been living in Fayetteville since. I was getting a master's degree at Georgetown in integrative medicine. It's a more holistic way of practicing medicine, and use that to get into med school. So I got into UAMS in February, and so I'm going to be going next year. I decided to defer until next fall. So I'll be going to med school in August of 2024. In the meantime, I'm coaching kids, so junior high and high school kids, doing some private football performance, like strength training coaching. And it's going well. I'm really enjoying it. Life is good. Wish the Hogs were winning, but I'm feeling good. I'm loving the track I'm on, and I'm going to enjoy this year before school because it's going to be brutal, but I'm ready to get going on my journey.
Good for you. I can tell you this much: when Coach Williams was going to school, or even when he got after, they never and nobody ever volunteered me to take any of those classes because I wouldn't even know we're getting a line with those classes. But hey, Brooks, good to see you. Appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Yeah, thank you all. I appreciate it. This was fun.
All right, man.
Hopefully next time we have some wins on our belt.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll bring you on.
We'll dissect the win.
We win. We're going to bring you back on and say you're the guy.
Good luck, Charm. Yeah. All right. I'll see you later.
See you, Brooks.
Man, it was just great to have, Brooks on and kind of a different perspective. It's kind of great. You have a linebacker on his, about those guys, what they're going through mentally. They're playing well, but the results aren't coming as a team. And then, you being a former offensive lineman and trying to dig into, what the boys are thinking in that locker room, what those coaches are thinking about. And, man, I can tell you this much. If we beat Florida, we're bringing Brooks back on.
100%.
Good luck, Charm.
Yeah, he's staying online.
No doubt. Well, let's switch over to high school. Let's go ahead and bring Danny McEwen on as our BSN Player of the Week. Man, everything's starting to shape up. We got week 10 next week, and I think we all know what that is. But before we can have a week 10, we got to have week 9. And
That's right.
And we got some great ball games this week. You were out last week. What'd you learn last week?
Well, I went over to War Memorial and watched Parkview and Magnolia. Wanted to get a little look at the double slot, and didn't get much of a look at it. It ended pretty quickly. So it's going to be interesting to see. You talk about week 9 and week 10. It's going to be interesting to see if Parkview's bored and they can focus. They got a big one against Lakeside this week, but everybody's in the same boat right now. Week 10, we know we got some big matchups to look forward to. So don't overlook week 9. It'll be a trap game for anybody.
And that happens. I mean, we kind of saw it last week. I mean, with Farmington going, taking out the Shiloh Saints, Coach Jay. Big huge win. They got that screwed up now. Nobody knows which way they're going. And I mean, just some. Bentonville grinds it out against Rogers. Just some big games last week, and we got some this week. All right,
our 12 undefeated teams remain intact.
They did. I did check that. Do we have a question? We didn't talk about this. I mean, are you going to snowball be in front of everybody again on that question like that?
Well, I don't know. According to Coach Whiteley, you got to watch out for Poughkeepsie.
That's true. Wise man. Wise man. I agree. Wise man. All right, we'll talk this about our BSN Player of the Week this week. Big number.
You bet. So, it's becoming very common that the BSN Arkansas Player of the Week has 2 numbers in common every time. You got to have over 400 yards. And you got to have 6 touchdowns. And it happened again this week. So our Arkansas Player of the Week for week 8 is Hot Springs quarterback Matt Contreras.
Oh, man. We'll talk about them. We got to brag on them a little bit.
Yes.
We kind of challenged them about 2 weeks ago. They couldn't win on the road. I mean, that was kind of, the secret's behind everybody's back, and, running around what about Hot Springs? Can't win on the road. I mean, it's what you get. They've taken that personal, and they've went on the road. Got another big road game this week against Fairview, but they have proven it, and that man's led them the way right there, man.
Absolutely. I don't know who it came from, but evidently there was a little bit of mouthing, maybe on social media before the game and then pregame. And according to Coach Burnett, Matt decided to take it personal. He had 402 yards passing and 6 touchdowns, but here's what makes it even more impressive. They got 2 big-time D1 recruit receivers. Neither one of them played a lick.
Wow.
So he had 2 sophomore receivers that played a ton of snaps. One of them, a young man named Tyrell Honey, had 209 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. But Kenyon Woods, David Hose, the senior, and Justin Washington, the junior. So those guys, Daryl said it in the paper that they've been taking a lot of JV snaps, but they were ready. And according to him, Matt was ready too. He had his chip out on his shoulder, and big win over Texarkana, 50-14. So we had a great time honoring Matt and Coach Burnett, Coach Hembry, those guys, Coach Sanders. Those guys do a fantastic job in Hot Springs, and And they got a big one tomorrow night.
Yeah. On the road again. Yeah. On the road again. We'll see what Coach Pimple says about it. But I tell you what, talk about answering the call, man. Those guys been on fire, road warriors.
Absolutely. So, it's them versus Camden Fairview. That's going to determine the number 2 seed in the home playoff game. So
huge deal. Well, we got brewing on this Friday night. I know we got something going.
Well, besides that one, we got Benton, who I did get to see Benton play. Got to see them play against Searcy. And that was big. Boy, they're explosive. So they're going to West Memphis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Big game right there. I think I can probably go anywhere in the state and watch a complete football game and come home and still be able to see this next one because they'll still be playing. Greenwood's at PA. They may play till midnight.
Yeah, they could. And we're going to break that game down later on. But, I mean, that's a huge matchup. Those Bulldogs down there forgot about, PA beating them in the finals. I was been down there for some games, and it's always brought up all the time. So,
kind of running stealth mode right now. So that's going to be a good one. And the one that I'm really intrigued about is Nashville at Malvern.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be and Nashville's starting to play pretty good, and Malvern Leopards, Coach Halpy looked at him last week. He winked at me and said Malvern's pretty good. So if he says that, they're pretty darn good. So, big game. Well, Danny, I'll get you off here, man. Well, good to see you. We'll take care of you. We'll holler at you later, man. Man, I tell you what an impressive young man. Our PSN Player of the Week's getting to be a really hot thing, and getting a lot of people want that award, and Danny does a great job with it. Well, let's get into our picks, and let's go ahead and bring him on, Coach Daryl Fimple. Let's get into our high school picks. Hey, great week last week. Great game. Yes. We got to recap, man. A lot of shocking things going on in the world right now, sports world. I mean,
I'm telling you,
everywhere.
I went to the Elkins Ozark game.
Ooh.
And wow.
Boat race.
Over there inside the 20, Elkins. Man, let me tell you, Elkins. I know we fired Enos this week, but Zach Watson was hot. He was rolling the dice, baby. I mean, he had us off balance the whole night long. And then the second half started. I don't know if we wanted to come out of there. Turned it over twice inside the 20. Elkins goes down and scores. Man, they've got some skilled players. They got some good-looking kids. And their defense is really good. I was really impressed with their defense. Ozark could not run the football, so it's kind of crazy game.
Held the Burns and the Ozark Hillbillies to 40 yards total offense. I mean,
at home.
Oh, that was packed too, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was awesome. You could smell the popcorn in the parking lot. I mean, there's people trying to dive over people, stealing AAA passes. It was awesome.
Oh, man. Well, let's tell you, coming up here, another big shocker, J.R. Eldridge and the Farmington Cardinals.
Hey.
Man, take them out. Take the Saints out.
Seems like that guy's got a plan every year for something like that to happen. I just kind of amazing that they got down and then figured out, made some adjustments at halftime, which that's new to see in Arkansas. But they actually worked, rolled the dice there, came back and got them. Now that made that conference a 4-horse race right now. I mean, they're all kind of jockeying there if, something could happen there. And there's a 4-way tie there at the top. So that's kind of crazy.
Oh, it is. They got the 2 big games. There are a lot of people still in that league. You got Mills, the matchup with Joe T. They go and beat Joe T. Mills just kind of keeps rolling on there. The Batesville Southside went down last week.
Man, hurt us right there. That's the one I missed right there.
That's
hurt us in more ways than not. Well, not only we lost, man, we're trying to get that millage. It's not good when we slip up there on the old millage.
Yeah, I mean, we don't take things personal on the show.
Circle of wagons there. Maybe we need to play it off like we're trying to get away from somebody.
It's like I said, we don't take things personal, show, but we will mention you by name if you know. There's a lot of bad texts going back and forth. If you lose, we'll pick you, buddy. I'm going to tell you. Start calling people out. We'll call you out. That's where we go. All right, well, let's get into your top 5s. Man.
My top 5 is going to be back again. Parkview Patriots. I don't know what you do with them guys. And from here on out, Hot Springs is playing hot in that league. I mean, that whole league is good. Mills is sitting over there waiting, but man, you can't touch those guys. Those guys are phenomenal. We got Conway at 2 in my book. I got Fayetteville 3, Greenwood 4, and Bryant number 5. All right. Because, I like to move things around. I don't want anybody to get comfortable. All right. That's my whole goal. I don't want nobody. I want the best from everybody right here. All right. But I will say that's Buck's 60th in a row. Yeah. So the Conway, Buck James are 60-0. And that's crazy. And North Little Rock goes over there this week, which is going to be real fun. My real top 4, well, what I like to call the real top 5. But here's somebody we keep leaving out, and these guys have been successful for a long period of time, is the Prescott Curly Wolves.
Oh, pull boys.
Everybody's sleeping on my Curly Wolves, man. My Curly Wolves are ready. I mean, it's in the water down there. We're already lining ourselves out, just sneaking in the grass there. Got Harding Academy after looking at them this week and their numbers. Goodness gracious. How about that place? How about Harding? You've got Cersei over there throwing the ball over the place. You got Harding Academy throwing it over the place. You got the University of Harding. And what are we doing? We're just grinding it out, baby. We're just grinding it out. I mean, you go Friday, Saturday, you get 2 different philosophies going there if you go watch a college game, which Harding is in first place, by the way. My number 3 is Malvern. Did some numbers on them. Man, those guys are explosive. Great team. I got a tie for 4th because I haven't got to see these guys, but Elkins and Salem. That's my 4. And I'm going to tell you what, too, somebody else is hiding down there in the South, is Warren. Our boy Bo is hiding in the bushes. He's got a 14-year-old quarterback that's phenomenal, throwing to these giant guys. The philosophy's working. So that's my top 5 this week. I got Prescott, Harding Academy, Malvern, Elkins, and Salem tied for 4th, and Warren bringing up 5th. The other thing, my 8-man football squad, Subiaco Academy, scoring all kinds of points in 8-man football. You got to go out and see them. They got something going on there, too.
Oh, baby.
The other thing is my small Mineral Springs last week. That's what we had in Mineral Springs here. They would be 6th in my little team. Mineral Springs, Catrevian Thomas. Listen to this guy. He had 7 TDs. The guy had 7 TDs in one game against Mount Ida. All right. Katron is what I like to call him. Katron had 7 TDs. He had 6 tackles. He returned a kickoff 83 yards. All right. The spring, we're doing it both ways, even though we gave up 14 points last week, which we're a little upset about because we only give up 4 a night, but we gave up 14 in Mount Ida. They got lucky. But my man, K. Thomas, with 7 TDs. It's unbelievable.
Good. They don't do that in a year. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's what I'm saying.
I bet the defense coordinator so
upset. Then they go, hey, we need to stop, K-Tron. To go over there and make some tackles for us, man. Dust off that thing. Here's some water. They're squirting water on him as he goes out there. Yeah. And then he returns the kickoff. I mean, who was the wise guy that kicked it to him? Was that after 6 touchdowns or what? I mean, what are you trying to do there? Yeah. Mineral Springs continues to roll. Bigelow's in there. EPC solid. And then you got Carlisle and Hayes and both down there in the smaller classification.
Oh, Carlisle played defense over it, man. They play defense over at Carlisle. That's where they bring them over the defensive guys.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into our picks here. I think this is some of their toughest picks. These games, and then next week, man, there's all kinds of great games. A lot of big games this week. I mean, just all setting up. We're going to start. Let's start here going over to Eastern Arkansas. We got Cross County at Mark Tree. Grandma Na's taking Mark Tree. The Mouse taking Mark Tree. I'm going to go with Mark Tree also. Break it down for me.
Well, Cross County, they started out 4-3 overall. They're 3-2 in the conference. They're ranked 4th in the conference right now. Mark Tree sitting in 2nd. They're 6-1, 4-1. Mark Tree is in conference games has scored 255 points, but they've given up 175. Cross County's got an average of 27 points tonight, giving up 17. But here's the funny thing about the but part. I think Mark Tree's speed, Cross County, I think is starting to figure it out, though, with the transfers and all that good stuff. I think they're going to be get themselves in the playoffs, but I'm taking Mark Tree in this one.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one. All right, going this team you've been ranting and raving about the last couple of weeks. We have Salem at Maryville.
Yes.
Whole crew on this side's taking Salem, man. I mean, the Mouse taking Salem, Grandma Na's on Salem. I'm on them just because, I mean, they're undefeated. They're just rolling up there. Break it down.
Well, they're 4-0, 8-0 on the year. They've won 8 straight games. They have dominated the league. They've scored 198 points, averaging 49 points a game. Perryville struggles points-wise, but they're pretty good on defense. But the problem is Salem has Elijah Romaine. Don't get Elijah Romaine lettuce. That would be his thing. He's carried the ball 140 times for 1,247 yards, 8.9 yards a clip, 16 touchdowns. All right, I'm going with Elijah and Salem right here. All right, welcome to the witch trials of Salem right here. Salem wins this one going away.
I think so, too. Staying over in Eastern Arkansas, staying in that same league, it's crazy. Desart at EPC, the Mouse taking EPC, Grandma Na is taking Desart. I'm going to go with EPC. Desart had a little slip up a couple of weeks ago, but, they always get right on track. They're always in the mix. Break it down.
Well, Desart has a two-headed monster. They've got 2 running backs, Davion Bell and Cash Flanagan. Got a lot of the name Cash Flanagan. That's a great name. Cash Flanagan has carried it 118 times for 776 yards and 15 touchdowns. Davion Bell's the home run hitter. He's carried it 57 times for 788 yards, which is 13 yards a whack. Give Davion the ball a little more. I think Davion needs to share some carries. So this is a little thunder and lightning backfield we got going on there at Desart. He's got 12 touchdowns, too. That's 27 touchdowns they've combined for on the ground. And then you've got this, EPC. Let me tell you, EPC is really good defensively. They only give up 20 points in the league. They've got the Gaines boys, Dennis Gaines. Everybody's heard about Dennis. I think they did a little thing on Dennis. Dennis has 5,923 yards in his career. Did you hear me? He's almost circled the earth. This guy, he's carried the ball. Unbelievable. 5,923 yards this guy's racked up. Last week alone, he had 10 carries for 109, and they had to pull him because, God knows what would happen here. They also have a big home run threat themselves, too, and Omar McCaston. He's got 24 catches for 570 yards and 9 touchdowns. The Gaines boy, I think, has got a brother that plays on the defensive side. He had an 80-yard TD interception last week, and he also had 2 catches against Mariana Lee, home of Carlos Hall. That's all I got for you, Mariana Lee. On this one, I'm taking EPC going away.
I think so, too. Big 4A matchup here. You brought them up earlier. We got the Nashville Scrappers and the Malvern Leopards. Grandma Na's taking Malvern, Mouse taking Malvern. I'm on that wagon. I've been on it all year long. I think their question was the quarterback, and I think he's fine. And I actually talked to Coach Alpy last week, the former legend over there. He said he winked at me and said they're pretty good, so I'm going to go with the Malvern Leopards.
Well, here's the fun. They got to run back, too. Jalen Dupree, who is a freakazoid. He's leading the state in rushing, 147 carries, 1,472 yards, and 22 TDs. Last week, he went over 2,827 yards. He's going to be a 6,000-yard rusher, too. Did you just hear that? I just said this guy's ran the ball for 6,000 yards in his high school career.
I believe he was one of our BSN players of the week, and he broke.
Good pick on that one.
Yeah.
He is averaging 210 yards a game.
Yeah.
A game. All right. Now, he's playing people that know that, and he's still getting 210 yards. So that's even the more amazing. He's got a wide receiver. It's a home run hitter, and Dylan Carradine, who's got 50 catches for 1,000 yards, 11 TDs. Nashville, of course, they got another Hopkins kid. Trey Hopkins went off last week, 113 carries on the year for 720 yards, 6.4 yards a whack, 11 TDs. They do have a sack artist. He's leading the state right now. Zacharias Harris has got 13 sacks. So that's going to be something that could actually pressure him, but it's not going to matter. I don't think Malvern's going to throw it because I'm just handing it to Billy Joe Jalen Dupree right here, and then going to see how many yards we can get. So he's racking them up. I'm going to take Malvern and this one going away too.
Yeah. I bet the Scraps show up and play a little bit, though.
The Scraps have. They've won their last 3 games, both of them. So it's kind of a battle. I think Nashville's kind of found something.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is an interesting game. Talked about this bunch last week. Coach Van Pascal's went over to Heber Springs and just however turned this thing around, and they're rolling. Big win over Stuttgart last week, and they're traveling to the one that's kind of been everybody's kind of quiet about. I think is a major factor in 4A. They're traveling over to Associated Harding Academy.
Yes.
Oh man! And the Mouth's going to take Harding Academy. Of course, he always takes Harding Academy, and then Grandma Knox take Harding Academy. She traditionally doesn't do that. I'm going to go with Harding Academy. Break this down. Talk about Coach Van Pascal a little bit. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hey, that guy, he's magical. He's won everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been, that guy's a winner. Does things the right way. But here's the flip side of it. You run into Harding Academy. It's like the legendary Coach Williams statue used to say, sometimes you can win one too many. This could be it for Heber. So they're going to roll in there right now. Heber is only giving up 10 points a night, but Harding Academy is something else. They're number one overall in 4A. They're 8-0, 4-0 in the conference. They've won 8 straight games. They've scored 205 points in conference play, which gives them 51 points a night. Owen Miller is their quarterback. He's thrown for over 1,600 yards, 19 touchdowns. They got a running back in Isaac Baker, who's averaging 8 yards a whack, 9 TDs. Kyle Hoover's their big target, 42 catches, 8 TDs. They spread it around a lot. They play in a lot of space, but that quarterback, he stays clean most of the game. So I'm taking Harding Academy in this one.
Yeah, I think
the man Van Pascal's done a great job. They're going to be the
he
playoff
has
game.
done, and if anybody pull it off, it's him. All right, this one's interesting. Hot Springs, who I was on their case, man, and they have become the role model.
They
They have
responded.
responded. Coach Williams called them out. Coach Burnett let his team know, and they have responded.
They
They are traveling to Camden Fairview. Both of these guys here know each other, worked with each other, coached against each other's assistants, and as head coaches. Mouse going with Fairview. Grandma Nod's going with Hot Springs. I'm going to stick with the Trojans.
I like it. At Camden, though, Camden plays really well at Camden. They're a good home team.
They're a good point. You've talked me out of it. I'm going with Fairview. They are playing good at home.
Yeah. The Camden Fairview Cardinals are pretty tough. That whole league is really weird because I think besides Parkview, you got 2 through 4 there that are really, really a lot alike. But I like this fact that both of them have won 4 straight games. Yeah. So both of them are pretty hot. Hot Springs 7-1 overall, 4-1 in the league. Camden Fairview 6-2, 4-1 in the league. They're sitting in 4th right now in the conference because they lost to Lakeside. Camden did. Hot Springs, besides you take away the Parkview numbers, that man, they're awesome. They're loaded. The Contreras kid is their quarterback. He's thrown for 1,371 yards. Wide receiver TJ Borgden, we talked about before, he had 41 catches for 707. Last week they played without those 2 cats. Yeah, but they didn't have the wide receivers, and they still destroyed Texarkana last week. So Hot Springs is rolling. I think they have figured something out. All right, I think it's working for them. I think they're going to go in hot. I believe in Hot Springs beating Camden Fairview Friday night.
Wow. You talked one of it, and then you backfired on me. Hey, drive me in, sack me in, and kick me out. All right.
I'm winning, man.
That's why but I do think you made a point. Fairview's playing pretty good at home besides the Lake deal. All right, going to Eastern Arkansas. Value, who rolled up Bates with Southside last week, is at Nettleton. And everybody's Grandma Nas taking Valley View, Mouse taking Valley View, I'm taking Valley View. I think Valley View runs away with this.
Valley View is first in the conference. They scored 20 points. They scored 20 points in the 4th quarter to beat Batesville Southside last week, which is something that there's some interesting stuff in these quarters because we've had some explosive quarters, which we're going to get to later on. Valley View's averaging 40 points a night in conference play. Nettleton is giving up 26 and only averaging 34. Isn't that bad? But Valley View's quarterbacks played really, really well. He's got 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns he's thrown for. He's about 60% passer. They've won 7 straight games. Their only loss was to Harding Academy, which was the 2nd game of the year. So Valley View's hot. I think they're right in position here. And we're going to have some jockeying in that league, too, up until next week, too. So I'm taking Valley View over Nettleton.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that Valley View's kind of just rolling over there in that deal.
Yeah, they've gotten some momentum and they've kind of snuck around there too. But you know, they're going to run into. If they get past Nettleton, I think they've got a really good shot here.
Yeah, they might make
one out of that league.
All right, let's go to the 6A West. Neither one of these teams, Greenwood, contesting in a while, but the rematch of last year's 6A state championship. Greenwood traveling to Pulaski Academy last year. Greenwood won in the regular season, got beat in the state finals by PA. Greenwood's rolling in here undefeated. PA's got loss against Little Rock Christian. The Mouse taking Greenwood. Grandma Na's taking Greenwood. I'm on that wagon. I think they're the best team right now in the state of Arkansas in the 6A.
They might be in the discussions for overall. That's how good Greenwood is this year. Greenwood's 8-0, 6-0 in the conference. Pulaski Academy 7-1, 5-1 in the conference. They went over on Highway 10 and got beat like they've never been beaten before, especially by an Arkansas school and Little Rock Christian. They're averaging 42 points. I think they've kind of figured some stuff out too. They're playing a little bit different defensively, but Greenwood's averaging 50 points a night, doing it so many different ways. And they've got so many kids that make an impact. You've got both of the Archer boys. Kane was 98. He's 98 out of 128 for 1,100 yards. He's been hurt, but he's also got another 300 yards carrying the football. Then you've got two wide receivers who've got 49 catches apiece. They've got 18 touchdowns between them, and their running back went over 1,000 yards last week against Russellville. Braden Davis. He also has 18 touchdowns. I mean, we've still got 2 games left. So he's averaged 125 rushing yards a game. Their defense, Greenwood, that's where they're really good, if you ask me, because they can get after the quarterback. They got cash money Archer, baby. An NIL deal right there. He's got 50 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, and 13 sacks on the year. They got Zachary Edwards as a middle linebacker inside with 68 tackles. Braden Staggs is a safety. He's got 5 interceptions, which is probably, I think it's 3rd in the state of Arkansas right now. So they're really good on both sides of the ball. Special teams, got a great coach, great staff over there. Pulaski Academy is the same way too. They've got video numbers all over the place. They like to throw it to Walden Culpepper. Brandon Cobb is their quarterback. He threw for 4 touchdowns last week, 366 yards with a big, huge, giant looking pass thing on his. Yeah, I've never seen it like it. Yeah, it's throwing strikes everywhere. He's got 29 touchdowns, almost 3,000 yards throwing it, but he's got several people he throws it to. I don't think they run it as well as they have in the past, which is going to give them a problem because if you score fast, Greenwood gets the ball, which could be a problem because they're going to score back at you. Greenwood, what a great situation. Coach Young's take over and they hadn't missed a beat. Think about that guy. That guy grew up with Joe Fred Young, his legendary dad in that area. And then he's got daggum Rick Jones leaves him the keys to the limo. I mean, golly, that was awesome. That guy's lucked out and he's done a great job with him. So I'm taking Greenwood in this one.
Yeah, I think Greenwood's just a little bit too much. PA's, I just don't think they're as good as they were last year.
Greenwood's got 12 total interceptions too.
Yeah, they're really good.
Pretty good.
They're good in the kicking game and they're good in everywhere. All right, going to 6A East. Here we go. We got the Benton Panthers headed over to God's country, the West Memphis Blue Devils. Benton just rolled over. I talked to Coach Zach Clark this week, and they just played Benton, and he's like, man, they're very physical. Their best team by far we've played so far. West Memphis bounced back last week at Greene County Tech, after getting beat by Marion. Huge game. Benton can really seal the deal here for a 1 seed, looks like all the way through. And, West Memphis is trying, they still can muscle around, maybe get that 2 seed. Things work out with this win. Well, a lot of scenarios could happen. The Mouse going to take Benton. I'm going to take Benton. And Grandma Na, of course, she's always going God's country over there. She loves West Memphis.
West Memphis. She loves the Blue Devils.
So what do you see? West Memphis could cause them some problems.
I think so. But Benton, man, they're really good up front. Their quarterbacks are really good. They've got Braylon back there. They got some really, really talented wide receivers. They beat Catholic last week, which was Coach Fogerman's 150th, or was it a 100th? It might have been his 100th win. Yeah, 100th win. The previous, or actually won it maybe Friday. But Benton's explosive in so many different ways. They were up 50-0 at half on the Cersei Lions. We were taking pads off, maybe. They came back on them a little bit to make it respectable, but they were up 50-0. Yeah. So I think Benton's got momentum. They've got depth. They can score in different ways. They're really good up front, 7, especially on defense. So I'm going to take Benton on this one, even though I think West Memphis is going to make this closer than you think, especially at home. And I think the skill guys of West Memphis might give Benton a different look, but I think Benton's got too much on offense.
I believe so, too. Should be a good game because I think West Memphis defensive line-wise can match them and do some things. Yeah. All right, huge game here and a lot of side notes to this game.
Good gosh. Oh my.
Lots of side notes on this game. This is a huge game. Bentonville beat Rogers last week, so this thing could all turn into a 3-way tie for third place, which is a big deal, as far as seeding.
Is he going to go to point?
Go points, and I believe right now that West might have the edge. And here, it's a lot of crazy stuff going with this one. And Coach Pratt last week against Heritage who is the play call for Bentonville West, was ejected. Coach Pratt sent me his video, kind of explained the situation. Just happened either, kind of one of those deals. He got tossed, so he can't. He had to sit out the third quarter and fourth quarter of the Heritage game. He's going to miss the first half of this game. He is the play caller. Southside last week scored 77 points. The bad news, they put up 56. And that's a problem.
They scored 42 in the second quarter. 42 points. And guess how many Harbor scored in the second quarter? 21. 63 points were scored in the second quarter alone. Southside scored one time in 33. They scored in 30 seconds. The last 30 seconds of the half, they scored. With 3 seconds left, they scored.
I think this thing go back and forth, and here done screwed up turnovers, and especially, I don't know, special teams didn't get involved, so it's kickoff, turn on this one. All right, Bentonville West at Southside. The Mouse going to take Southside. Grandma Non's taking Bentonville West. I'm going to go with Southside. They're at home. And, of course, I think up front wise, they can do whatever they want to offensively. The key part for Southside is can we get a stop? Is there a possibility we get a couple stops?
You only need one. I did the math on this. If you can defer, you only really need to get one stop and just not turn the ball over. Just let them do what they need to do. We go 7s, but this is going to be tricky. The first one that goes for the 8, it's the first person that tries to get an even number in there. That's what's going to screw this game up, because this one's crazy. This is an absolute crazy game because Southside, I don't know. I don't know much about anything. I'll tell you that. But if you got 2 running backs that are phenomenal like Southside does, we might want to stick them in at corner just a little bit. Just maybe. I just gave you the stats from my guy at Mineral Springs. Katron, he can play both ways. We can just stick them in there for a quarter or two, get a couple snaps out of them. You see the guy at Colorado do it all the time. It's just a suggestion. I don't know. Bentonville West, so 6-2, 4-1 in the league. They're tied for second with Bentonville, which has got to be nice for them because that's their next game. You got Southside 5-3, 2-3, but they played the toughest 3 starting right off the bat, and now they're just hanging points on everybody. They're averaging over 44 points a game in league play, which if you grew up in the West like we did, I don't know if there was 44 points scored in 3 games back in the day. I don't remember any of that happening. Even when Barry Lunny, a senior, went over and started winning there and throwing it around a little bit, there was nothing like this. So the West has definitely exploded offensively. You still got Fayetteville up there with it and on the whole 9 yards. That Lindsay boys thrown for almost 32 touchdowns now.
Rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling. So on this one, Southside and Bentonville West, like you said, it's a home game for Southside. I think they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder because they can slide all the way up in there in that, that 3-hole at least. So I'm taking Fort Smith Southside.
Wow.
And the score's going to be 80 to 72. And it's going to be 80 to 72 because they're going to go for one of them they're going to go for one of them even numbers.
Try to
That's all I
get
got.
87.
They get the even numbers.
Wow.
Yeah.
82.
I mean, it could be outrageously unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know how that happens.
Well,
I mean,
we're going to get off here, man. Hey, we'll check your work. Good to see you. And hey, big games next week, man.
oh,
one
man.
right down the
Closing
road.
out rivalries, yeah.
That's better have women and children on that one because that's going to be.
It'll be phenomenal.
Oh, it's going
next
to be.
week. We got Murfreesboro Mineral Springs, man.
Oh yeah, got that one on.
Check out that, buddy. The Rattlers are waiting on us.
Well, send me your text. We'll be ready to roll this week.
All right.
All right, buddy. See you, man.
Have fun. See you.
Man, that Coach Fimple, we got some great games. I tell you what, that guy can spit out stats he's like a machine. AI has nothing on him as far as stats. There's nothing going on there. Well, let's go ahead and bring him on. Let's talk a little NFL and a little college football. Let's go ahead and bring him on, Mr. Triple Crown Derek. Last week, college football was crazy. NFL football was even crazier. Can't wait for everybody. I was listening to Pat McAfee this week was going down the road and said Vegas has, there was a big deal. The people were winning a lot of money early, and Vegas took all their money back this past weekend. So, it's one of them deals. If you're compete.
No doubt they sure did. I mean, they literally, it was not a good week for handicappers, and I follow a lot of people that are handicappers as well, kind of the thing, right? And nobody had a good week. So it just wasn't a good week.
We have a positive attitude on this show, Derek. We have a positive attitude. That is washed away. We've moved on. Okay, so let's get into this week. Let's just college football.
Yeah. Hey, exactly. Short-term memory, right? And so same thing. We're going to do an NCAA college football, and then we'll do an NFL. So NCAA college football, starting on Saturday. I'm going to give you 5 games here that I like that's going to pay out plus 730. So over 7-1 odds. And I really like these games. So the first game is Georgia at Florida. The line is minus 14. I'm going to take money line on that. I think Georgia's going to win that game. Florida, I just don't think that they're not going to be able to play with Georgia. Georgia's they're going to be driving now for the rest of the season until the SEC championship. Second game I've got, I think we just played them, is Mississippi State at Auburn. I think Mississippi State's little running back, obviously, he was playing on literally one leg, right? And I know our defense has played okay, but, Auburn's going to put up points. I mean, they proved that against Ole Miss. They scored with Ole Miss. And so I'm going to take Auburn minus 6 in that game. That is the line. I think they're going to cover by a touchdown. That's going to really jack your odds up and help your parlay. So Auburn minus 6. Then I have Tennessee. The line on this is minus 4 at Kentucky. Kentucky's coming off a bye. Tennessee has owned Kentucky over the years.
Yeah. And coming off an emotional loss against Alabama, that's all. I mean, that's a huge game, a big rival game, and Coach Heupel, he was kind of upset after the game about some of the calls. So, what's their mindset back? Kentucky's, like I said, coming off a bye. Coach Stoops does a great job, and man, that's going to be a physical football game.
It is, and I just do not think Kentucky's defense can hold Tennessee down. Kentucky also is coming off an emotional loss before the bye to Missouri. I mean, they were up in like 21-0 or something like that, and their defense just gave up. I mean, and so with that, I think Tennessee they just got more athletes, and they have the best receiver name I've ever seen in my life. His name's Squirrel, right? And so, but with that, I really like Tennessee in that game. Just don't give the minus 4. Just take the money line because the odds are good. The next game is, I think it's time for USC to rebound a little bit. The line's -10.
I'm warning you about those guys. I'm warning you right now.
I know.
Most overhyped team in America. I mean,
I agree.
the Herd the other day got on Lincoln Riley. The Herd got on Lincoln Riley. I mean, you thought Lincoln Riley was, Bo Schembechler or something. I mean, listen to that guy. He's even turned on. That team, you got to watch that bunch. But go ahead.
I'm with you, but they've got a quarterback that's trying to win the Heisman. Sorry, I got some. Got a quarterback trying to win the Heisman. They're going to try to put up points. I'm not laying the 10. I'm going to take the money line on that one as well. And then probably the best game of the day that evening is Oregon versus Utah.
Oh man, Coach Ultimate, man! I tell you what, they look pretty good last year. They're hungry. They're ready to go, man. I talked to him, and he is. I still think they got, and I think they're going to get in the Final Four. If it all works out, we're going to get a piece of Washington again, and Coach Ultimate and the Leftwich family. They're fired up down there all over the place. His brother Max is the offensive coordinator at Texas State. They're rolling, and I like this bunch. I like this football team.
So I'm going to take Oregon -6.5. That's the line straight up. That is the line, and so you're going to get really good odds. And so by taking Oregon -6.5, here's the thing: Utah's got a hell of a run defense. They only give up 78 rushing yards a game, right? But they can't score over 30 points.
Yep.
And so with that, I just don't think that they can hang with Oregon from a offensive firepower perspective, even though they got a good defense. And so those 5 games. To recap: Tennessee money line, Georgia money line, Auburn -6, USC money line, Oregon -6.5, +730. It's already booked for me. I would bet it right now because I think the lines will move from that -6.5. I think Oregon will eventually be an 8-point favorite. So I would get it while you can under a touchdown.
This show will drop. We're doing this Wednesday, folks, and so this thing will drop on Friday, and we'll get it out but you'll have time. But you might want to check some things. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
NFL, baby, here we go.
NFL. So NFL, we're going to do a 16 parlay, and it's going to pay 6-1 to exactly that. NFL, man, the first 4 or 5 weeks were really predictable. Last 2 weeks, the favorites have been dropping, and I'm talking dead favorites. I'm talking they're not even hitting the money line, and so. But I think it's time for a few of these teams to rebound. So, one of them you may not have the opportunity to bet. It's the Bucks at Buffalo, and I'm going to take Buffalo +1 in that game. They're due to rebound. They have looked not very good the last few weeks. But they've had a really hurt defense, right? And I was looking some of their defensive guys are coming back. So I think that they're going to beat Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. The next game, which is a tight game, is Texans. I'm going to take Texans +1 at the Panthers. The line is just -3. I'm moving it to +1, and that's more or less to cover myself on field goals at the end of the game that beat you, because that happens. Exact same move. I'm going to take the Jags at the Steelers. The Jags are -3. I'm going to move it to +1. You're getting really good odds with these 2 games because the line's only -3. The next game I'm going to take will be Rams at the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys coming off the bye week.
I knew you put it. I knew it.
Dude, I have to, man. I have to because the Rams running backs are hurt. They went out and they just grabbed Darrell Henderson and the old Denver running back.
Let me break it down for you here. Let's pay attention to history here. Well, I think it's Dak's rookie year or second year. I mean, it was rookie year. Well, we went over there in the NFC divisional round, playoffs, whatever, and the Rams were rolling that year. They put up 3 points, I think, in the Super Bowl and against the Patriots. We go there. They pull some Fat Albert guy off the street. The guy was huffing and puffing. They had 2 oxygen masks for the guy. He had a water bottle beside him, and he ran through us, man. We couldn't stop that guy. So be careful with that. Just pulling guys. I've seen this happen.
Yeah. Well, it's going to test. What it will test is Stafford's going to test the defense of the Cowboys with all these under routes with and the Puka Nakua. I mean, where'd this guy come from, right? I mean, this dude's amazing. I mean, it shows you that system, and when Stafford, whenever they turn around, he's going to hit them where he needs to go. And so, but I think the Cowboys will bounce back out of this. They better win, because you start looking at the Cowboys' future schedule. There's the Eagles. I mean, there's some tough games coming up. So they better win this game against the Rams. That's the way I'm looking at this. And then so next game I got Chiefs at Broncos. The line, it's actually low. It's -6, but I'm going to take them just to win, hit the money line. And then on Monday night, Raiders at the Lions. Lions got obliterated by the Ravens this week, which I was shocked about. And
it was no courage, man. They ate them up. Oh, Todd Monken over there, new OC over there, ate them up. They're almost running a quadruple option off zone. They play zone. I'm not. I mean, those guys know what they're doing. I'm not.
It was 38-6. I mean,
we ate it up.
Yeah, it was a butt kicking. And so with that, I mean, Lamar tore them up. And so Raiders don't have Lamar Jackson, though, right? So they have I think Brian Hoyer is their quarterback at the moment. So Lions shouldn't have a problem with this one. It's also a good line, but I'm going to take +1 just to be safe. All those picks you'll get +600, so 6-1. And we're going to hit one of them this weekend. I hopefully we're going to hit both. But that's my picks for football. But what I thought I would do, Jeff, is since I'm going to be gone next week. You're going
to be out next week. You're going to be gone.
Next week I'm in Denver. I've got
the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, I got a real job to go to next week. But we're going to be Breeders' Cup on next Friday and Saturday. So this is where I thrive. This is what I love to do, right, is the horses. It's really what's gotten me into doing so much of what I do with picking and handicapping and stuff like that. So there's a lot of races. If people don't know the Breeders' Cup, they have juvenile days, and they have the second day where they have all of the previous winners from the given year, where people that won the Derby, that won the Preakness, the Belmont.
And to the viewers that don't understand Breeders' Cup, they say go to Oklahoma once, twice a year, whatever. It's like having the All-Star game. It's like having your best of the best or come together, and they, some of them are older and younger, but it's the best of the best, and it's an amazing event. But go ahead.
It is. And so there's really two races that draws everybody's attention. I mean, so the first race is what they call the Breeders' Cup Juvenile G1 Grade 1 race. It's 1 mile and 1/16, and it's for 2-year-old males, right? This is a little bit of something that, for people that don't know this, that, so they have the Kentucky Derby, you can only have 3-year-olds that run in the Kentucky Derby. That's a rule, right? Yeah. So the people, the horses that come out of this race, they're 2-year-olds right now. Every horse on January 1, has a birthday, and that's where they turn 3. Yeah. Even if the horse was born in June, the birthday is on January 1. So these are the horses. So you really need if you like watching the Kentucky Derby, this race is a precursor, and it's an early indicator of what's going to happen on the Kentucky Derby. So with that, what I'm going to do is I've looked at all the horses that are pre-entries, because not everything is put in there yet. And the top 4 horses I have are one of them's called. These are really tough names. Okay, one of them, I'd hate to be a horse collar. One of them's called Muth. Muth. He has the best time of any horse in the race. He's the only horse, one of the only 2 horses that have ran the 1 mile and 1/16, and that's what this race is. He's a Baffert trainee, and he has the best time by over 2 seconds, and he is not the favorite. Okay, so his name's Muth again, Muth. Definitely write that name down. 3 other contenders that I'm going to give you. One of them named Prince of Monaco. It's another Baffert trainee. He has 4 in this race. Okay. Wow. But he is the speed of the race. This dude's a bullet work. He's going from 6 to 7 furlongs. He's stretching out. There's a horse named Timberlake. and a horse named Locked. And the horse named Locked is an interesting horse. He's a gun runner. He's out of that bloodline, and he's a pletcher trainee. So I think those are going to be your 4 horses that you're really going to look at, with Muth, M-U-T-H, being the favorite. So that's the juvenile race, and those horses are the ones that whoever wins this will have a ticket to the Kentucky Derby. Mm-hmm. Okay. The next race, or the next big race we'll talk about, is the Breeders' Cup Classic G1. And what this is essentially all the great horses from 2023. They're in the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont, the Travelers, everything, right? The Rebel back at Oaklawn. They get invitations to run in this race. The favorite in this race is Archangelo. If some of you may not know who Archangelo is, it was the maiden that won the Belmont and was trained by the female trainer, the first woman to ever win the Belmont. Since then, it's rebounded again and came and won the Jim Dandy at a record time. So this horse is up for Horse of the Year. It's not who I'm going with, but it's going to be the favorite, right? And it's going to be probably one of the biggest favorites we've had in this race in the last 3 to 4 years. The horse that I am going with, and I'm going to be watching, is a horse by the name of Arabian Night. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get him like 7-1 to 8-1. It's also a Bob Baffert trainee. What's interesting about this horse, Arabian Night, he was my winner. He was my pick for the Kentucky Derby last year when I watched him run in person at Oaklawn on the Southwest Day, which was the first big stakes day. He won by 10 lengths that day, I think. But he got hurt, and so he got inflamed, and Baffert put him on the shelf for the year. So he's only ran 4 times in his entire career. His last race he won by 20 lengths, and he has the typical Baffert running style where he runs 1 or 2 horses off for the lead, and I think he's going to not let these horses get away from him, and he's going to essentially just mow them down. And it's a pretty cool name, Arabian Night, right? I mean, it sounds like an awesome horse. But I think that's going to be the winner. There's 2 other horses in there that I would watch out for, right? The other 2 are White Abario, and this horse is coming off a monster run where it ran a 1:16. It's a time figure, and you're going to get him about 8 to 10 to 1. And then some of you probably have heard of the horse Mage, won the Kentucky Derby last year. He's in it as well. He's been running, hadn't been winning, but he's been running seconds and thirds in a lot of these races too. Archangelo and White Abario and things like that. But I think your money in this race is going to be Arabian Night.
Tell me this, and it's interesting. You talk about, Baffert's had all that stuff kind of going back and forth, and kept up much like should have. But where's he at in all this now? Kind of get us updated. I've been kind of out of the loop on all that.
He served his sentence, to say the least, right? And so, what he was hit with was putting some medication on the horses to heal them while they were working out and things, and it was running into their skin, right? Like soaking in their skin, and it was some sort of steroid that was on the banned list. But what he was doing is, he was saying, it's from them rubbing and things like that, and it helps with the inflammation. And so he got banned from Churchill Downs. Yeah. That's where he got banned from. So he'll have horses run all year, all across the country. But when he goes to Churchill Downs, they won't let him put his name on the horse. So what happens, you got to watch, and we talked about this last year, he'll put his apprentice trainer, right, as the trainer, and they'll still run, right? But Baffert don't get all the glory and all that. But I believe this year his sentence is done, and he is not going to lose any of the clientele. I'll tell you that, because he gets the best of the best. And to be honest, I think he is one of the better horsemen that take care of horses in the game. Last year he had a horse in one of the big races on, I think it was Preakness Day Fall, break his legs. He left like he left the races, and he still had the Preakness to go, right? I mean, he was like tore up, and so I think he, I really don't think it was a bad deal. I think he was doing the right thing. It's just, it was something that he didn't think was a problem, and it was a problem.
Well, that's very interesting because he is one of the best and always got great races. Well, we're going to miss you next week, so talk to our audience because, especially, we're into some horses here. Talk to us audience where they find you and your picks and, of course, with your horse picks and that part of it.
Yeah, so, Oakland, just so you know, Oakland literally is like 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
So, if you go to Oakland, buy my tip sheets, Triple Crown tip sheet. It is hot pink, right? I made it hot pink for a reason. And so it's hot pink, Triple Crown. Also, I'll be posting on TikTok. I'm doing it all for free this year. Even though we had a really, really bad week on the previous weekend, I tore it up on Monday Night Football. Go back and look at my TikTok. You can see what we hit there. We tore it up on last Thursday Night Football, hit a 10-1 where I gave y'all 7-1 and 6-1. We hit a 10-1 parlay. And on those nights, I play a lot more props. Props, when I say props, that's a certain receiver over a certain amount of yardage or a quarterback's going to throw a certain amount of touchdowns. And so I'll play those. And we have absolutely been tearing it up on Monday and Thursday night. So if you got something, you want to watch the game, bet a little bit of money, get on, follow Triple Crown on TikTok, and about 30 minutes before the game, I'll throw the pick out there. It won't be too early in the day because the odds move, and I'll do it about 30 minutes before the game.
Well, good deal. Well, we'll miss you next week, man. But
yeah, man.
If you need the picks, just follow him on TikTok, and he'll have them out there for you. Well, Derek, good to see you. Hey, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, man.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. See you guys.
Well, what a show, man. I mean, Bray the Mouse is still out on assignment. Maybe he'll get back in studio soon. We've, dropping, Coach Muss today also, and that's going to be what a great interview that is. And I can't wait for our viewers and fans to get to see that. But, what a great show. Brooks is coming on our show and talking about the Hogs and all the change-ups going on, all the great high school games. Well, let's go ahead and finish this up. Bray, tell us where our subscribers are jumping, and tell where they can find us and where to view, especially Coach Musselman's interview coming on Friday.
Yeah, that's a big one. Coach Muss will be on YouTube first. He'll be on there at our Coaches in the Mouth Pod. That's our handle. And, of course, we'll also be on X on our Coaches Pod. That's where you can find us there. And, of course, if you search us up on Apple Podcast, Coaches in the Mouth, we'll be live Friday.
Well, that's going to be awesome. And, man, Week 10's coming up. We got playoffs, right around the corner, and basketball started, a lot of stuff going on. Coach Bray, good luck to you this Friday. You've got a big game.
Yes,
this is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Bray Cook, the Mouse out on assignment. We'll see you next time.